how to get 1 month clean from weed. I was inspired to make this because I see a lot in the comments, people, the same people, getting a lot of clean time. So they're doing really well, they're active in their recovery, but they keep coming up to a bottleneck, and it's about that 1 month mark. And I see in the comments like, hey man, I keep relapsing at 1 month. Man, it's been 3-4 weeks and I'm slipping back. And this seems to be a common pattern that I'm seeing. And I guess for myself too, I wasn't able to make it past a couple months when I was trying to quit weed. So after this video, you'll have a better understanding of how to get past that first month mark. And really, essentially, the cravings after that go away. I'm gonna get into that in a little bit because you might be like, dude, there's no way the cravings are gonna go away. What? So the overarching point of this video, and this is gonna be clear, and I'm gonna be talking about this more on the channel, so you're gonna hear this message a lot, is it's not so much about quitting the weed. Now, let me explain that. What I see with a lot of folks that do succeed is they're doing things that improve their lifestyle as a whole. And this is really what this video is going to be about, is what things to do that aren't really weed focused, but are going to help you get off weed and stay off weed a lot faster. This is what I consult people on too when they sign up for my program. Because again, I don't want them, and I don't want you to just quit weed and then that's it. Okay, you're done. Have a good life, right? What I try to instill in people is to start building habits that are going to make you and give you a happy life. And these habits are going to change in the three main areas: health, wealth, and relationships. Once these three areas of your life start to get better, then what I find, and what I found with myself, is that I didn't really need weed anymore. Like, weed is no longer necessary to live because you're actually improving in the areas that my guess is that weed was covering up the lack of. So it's like, okay, I'm starting to make some money again. I'm starting to save. I'm starting to get in better shape and feel better as a person. There's really no need for weed in my life anymore. And that's a big awakening for a lot of people. And what I find is that most people after that month mark, if they're doing these things I'm going to be talking about, they're like, yeah, I haven't really even thought about weed. It's kind of gone. It was just like a weird dream. It's because now they're actually starting to put their energy into things that are going to matter in their life. And so the first one, let's go with health. So this is a big one that unfortunately a lot of people are not doing when they're smoking weed, is taking good care of themselves. And what does that look like? That looks like exercise. That looks like eating properly. So those are two big things that you can change right away, even after watching this video. Starting to switch your diet around. Get rid of all the processed stuff, the junk food, the going out to eat. Fast food seems to be a big habit with people that smoke weed. And I say that from experience too. I ate a lot of McDonald's, let's just say that. So getting rid of that and starting to make meals at home, starting to cook, starting to eat healthy, clean, organic foods. This is all going to help raise your baseline happiness level, raise your neurochemicals, raise your dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all of those chemicals that we're trying to seek through the weed. When you start to eat healthy and start to feel those good feelings by just, having a good home cooked meal, again, the cravings to use weed will become less and less. So this one, and then fitness, which I'm going to talk about, is huge for your long-term longevity and happiness in life. Some of you want families, some of you want kids. Like, you want to be around for your kids' lives and your grandkids' lives. You don't want to be cashing out at 65. I'll tell you that much. And what I found is that when I quit weed, I had a lot more energy, and I wanted to go on adventures, and I wanted to start living and explore the world and do all these fun things. And if I wasn't eating well, I wouldn't have the energy to go do this and the motivation, right? Now that I eat clean and proper, I have the energy and the desire to go in the world and explore and meet people and do all the fun things that I would sit by on the sidelines watching other people do when I was in my weed days. And the next point here is fitness. So this one is absolutely crucial as well. This one will really help you in the withdrawal / detox process and starting to sweat out some of that THC that's stored in your fat cells at a faster rate. Starting to build up that lung endurance again and get a natural endorphin rush. So this will really be helpful too, because some of these days that you are spending quitting weed can be tough. And if we can give ourselves even a moment of feeling good, and that usually comes after a workout, you get that, like that runner's high, especially if you're doing cardio, that often is enough to get you to the next day. And that's the name of the game here in these first 30 days, is to just get from one day to the other, right? We're not looking at the next 5 years, 10 years. We're looking at right here, right now, how can we just get to the next day and have these days compound on each other. So nutrition and fitness are going to be absolutely essential. Fitness, what I advise is getting some weights in, This is going to be really powerful, especially for you men. Let out some of that steam, that aggression, that anger. And then also finding a cardio routine you can do a couple times a week. Cardio is going to be very good as well to start clearing out the lungs, to start pushing yourself to do something difficult on the body, because you really do get a runner's high after an intense cardio session. And then the big one here is that you're going to sweat. You're going to sweat out the toxins. Now, that leads into the next key here, into getting to that first 30-day mark. That's going to be finding a sauna. This is one that the guys that I've seen do this, it really speeds up their process to where it's not even a month where they're not even craving. It's usually a couple weeks, because if they're going regularly, they're sweating out all that excess THC that's stored in the fat cells. They're really able to get all that THC out of the body a lot faster. So find a sauna in your area, whether it's connected to a gym, which is usually ideal because then you can do both. Or if you have to cough up a little money, and find a place where you can go regularly. And the sauna will also help you with the night sweats. I know a lot of you guys for the first, for 2 weeks or so, wake up with soaked sheets. It feels like you just ran a marathon. Yeah, that was me too. I had the night sweats big time, especially because I was dabbed. So this will help reduce the night sweats and reduce that period where you're waking up just, sweating out all that gunk. The next big one is going to be starting to journal, right? Starting to do some active work onto your life and to creating some goals for yourself. This is going to help, again, in all areas, health, wealth, and finance, but particularly finance, because you can start to map out where you want your career to go if you're not already in some field that you are happy with. Really starting to make a game plan of what are the steps I'm going to take now that I'm sober, now that I have free time, because that's a big one too. You get a lot of free time when you're not smoking weed. How can I use that time to build something, build a new life for myself, find a new job, find a job that's going to be more fulfilling for me and where I can be advanced, maybe even hopefully pays a little more money too. It's funny how you'll actually have money now that you're not smoking weed because you're not blowing it on cannabis every week. So it's like, hey, I might as well compound on that. How can I do that? And journaling is a great way to start running out your daily goals, start to map out a game plan, ask yourself what you really want, because a lot of times we can have thoughts swimming in our head, but until we get into the physical realm, they just are basically just ruminations. So we want to be able to see them physically on paper, and then it makes it a lot easier to hold ourselves accountable and then take actions. So this is the Journal for Goal Achievement, a great journal from my friend Andy Holt that he made that can really help you map out your days in a very structured, formatted way. As you can see here, each day there's a nice quote at the top. And then you write things you're grateful for, which is also good for your mental health. And then the 3 goals for the day plus an affirmation. So this is really powerful because each day you're going to set things that you can hold yourself accountable to. And then at the end of the day, there's going to be a reflection where you can write out 3 noteworthy wins for the day. So things that you did well and that you're proud of, and then how you can improve the next day. So this, one, it builds self-esteem and self-confidence because you're like, hey, I'm actually completing my goals. And 2, it's also keeping you accountable to make changes to improve in the areas that maybe you were lacking that day. So you can pick up this journal in the link below. And I really enjoy having this by my bedside to do in the morning and in the evening. And so the next piece that dives into the relationship aspect, because we just talked about the finance and the health. Now, all these that we talked about are going to help with your relationships, because if you're healthier, if you're happier, you're going to be more attractive to people. If you're happier in your career and making better money, you're going to have the opportunity to go spend more time with other people, friends, family, loved ones, etc. Now, for relationships, what I really see, the people that do succeed in marijuana recovery, what they do is they start to build the social network. You need people in your corner. I mean, I'm an introvert naturally, so I like being alone. However, that didn't make me the happiest, and I had to learn the skill of going out and having friendships, being somebody that people want to be around, adding value to other people's lives. This took work for sure. So this is one that, it's not like you're just going to go out tomorrow and then all of a sudden have 100 friends and you're going to be the most liked person in the group. It's a process of learning how to interact with the world again now that you're sober, now that you don't have weed as a crux. Most of my friends when I was smoking were stoner friends. So what did? We hung out, we smoked weed. We didn't really work on goals. We didn't build anything, nothing like that. And so that's what's really going to be important too, is finding people that are also like-minded, people that are in a growth mindset and trying to improve their life on a level just like yours. We don't want to be going out and finding friends that are just kind of lazy bums and, partying all the time and stuff. We want to find people that are in a similar lifestyle now to ours. We're healthy, clean, eating well, going out, exercising. The gym's a great place to meet people. If you play like a recreational sport, like pick up basketball or something, you can meet people there. There's a ton of meetup groups as well that you can try to find, running groups, things that are going to be focused around a healthy activity. And this is, again, is just going to build that healthy lifestyle while building healthy relationships as well. If you want to date eventually, you can start doing that as well. That one, you might want to hold off a little bit just so you can get your kind of bearings under you. But then, of course, desiring a relationship is something that does get to come with recovery and that you do now have the availability to work on. So the last piece here, and this kind of ties into everything here, it doesn't really fall into one category, maybe more towards the relationship side, but it's going to be volunteering. It's going to be getting out there and helping your community. This one is absolutely key if you want to have long-term sobriety and happiness and joy. You might be able to stay sober by doing the other things, but eventually there'll be a piece of you that feels kind of off, like something's missing. Because I'll speak for myself. I was very selfish when I was in addiction. Life revolved around me and my needs and what I could get. And what I had to learn when I got out of recovery is how I can be of help to other people, how I can take the focus off myself and my worries, my problems. I made a video about this recently. You can check out. It'll be linked below in the description. And it talks about the power of service and how it's absolutely essential for quitting weed. Finding ways that you can start being of service to your community is going to be absolutely essential. This could be little things like listening, making sure that you're supporting your friends and family and the people that are in your life. Also, this could be getting out and doing a voluntary activity. I volunteered once a week. Now I would say this channel's more of my service project. Even though I do paid stuff, like every one of you isn't signing up. So full transparency, I make very little from the YouTube AdSense or whatever, like very little. Like it takes 3 months to make like $30 because of the content I'm talking about. YouTube doesn't reward it. So most of my videos get capped on the monetization. So yeah, I'm not making a lot of money from this, but what it's doing is it's helping me take this time to do something that isn't going to be necessarily focused on me. And this is the mindset to have, and this is what's going to make you more attractive to other people. And when you build your relationships, you're going to have better quality relationships, and people are going to want to be around you more because you're not just so focused on yourself and using people to get your needs met. There are going to be times, of course, and even for myself, where I see friends and, I have some stuff going on and that we talk about for a while. So there absolutely in no way am I like, never talk about yourself. And now that you're of service, you can only help other people. No, there are going to be times that, and hopefully when you're building relationships with people that have a similar focus and a similar mindset of being of help and service to you, they're going to want to take their time to help you as well. So it's a give and take. And that's what you start to find in addiction recovery relationships, is that you want to find relationships that there is that give and take where you each are adding value to each other's lives. Same with romantic relationships as well. You don't want to have somebody that's just super selfish and all about themselves. And then the flip, you don't want to be that person either. So getting out, guys, getting into your community, volunteering once a week. I did a botanical garden. I did some work out in nature, like cutting down trees and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things you can find to start getting out there and being of service to your community. I would definitely just Google it, ways I can volunteer, and do something once a week. It doesn't have to be that long. I did it for like an hour to 3 hours a week. And what it did, though, is it started to retrain my brain to think of life and get out of my own head, because we can do that. We can think about our life and our problems and what we're working on. It can be a big deal. But once we can start to help other people, we get to forget about that for a little bit. And it does build a lot of healthy self-esteem as well. So guys, those are the big ones today. Definitely comment down below as you try these, and let me know how they start to impact your addiction recovery. Because if you start to implement all these things, 100% that you'll have an easier time getting to that 30-day mark. And then after the 30-day mark, because you're building this brand new life and you're starting to see some things kind of come to fruition and you're feeling happier because you're eating better and exercising and helping other people, the question becomes, why would I need to smoke weed? Like, this no longer is necessary in my life. And then you're free. And then you're free. So guys, best of luck out there. Wishing you well, and see you in the next one.